Hey everybody, it's Kyle. And so a few weeks back I did a presentation to a small group of families, and afterwards I was approached by a lady named Beth who said to me, I think we're really I think we're thriving. And I was really excited to hear that because I don't really hear too many families that I haven't worked with directly that say that. And so I said, that's fantastic. I said, well, when was the last meltdown your family went through? And she told me it was about a week ago. And I said, well, tell me what happened. And then she went on to explain how hard and difficult and painful it was. And I became a bit confused. And I said, well, what impact did it have on your family? And she wanted to explain how her typical kids ran off and hid. Her husband got angry. She got discouraged and was just so worn out, and it was just really hard. It was just really hard. She was struggling with it, didn't know when it was going to end, and she actually, as she was telling me this, just slumped her body and went back into that state of just hard and pain. And I could see the struggle. It was real. And I said, well, tell me about after the meltdown was over and you got everything back to normal, were you able to snap back very quickly? And she said, no, we kind of spent the rest of the day walking around on eggshells, and we were nervous that night, that maybe she would wake up and fall back into it. And I thought to myself, well, that's really what we're talking about when we talk about the autism roller coaster. And I guess what had happened is because she had come to my presentation and we had been talking and smiling and happy and thriving and talking about thriving, that she just assumed that maybe she was, because she was in that moment, and had completely forgotten about the meltdown that had happened a week before, just 1 week before. And I get it, right? Because the first thing we want to do when meltdowns are over and we know they're in our past is to remove them from our memory. We don't want to dwell on those things because it can be too hard. And I don't think she understood the metaphor of the autism roller coaster, because she was still on it. The previous week, a week before, she had been at a very low on that roller coaster. But in coming to my presentation and talking with us and our families and talking with other families, she had gone up and she was back up on the upswing and was feeling good, and I guess wasn't aware, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that she was going to go back down. The next meltdown was going to happen, and it may be harder than the previous one. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the autism roller coaster. We like to think that our kids will grow out of it. I can tell you they don't, especially if we don't manage ourselves in the right way. And we'd like to remove the low lows, but unless we manage those in the right way, we won't remove those low lows. We're going to have the high highs, right? Because when you're watching this video, you might be driving or away from the turmoil, and you're feeling okay and you're feeling like you can do it. But the minute you start sliding down that other side of that hill and start heading for that low, we all start getting a little tense and frustrated and discouraged, and all those things that those lows of that roller coaster bring. So if you're continuing to have those lows, if you're nervous about the next meltdown, if you're worried about what it's going to do to your family, if you're concerned for your typical kids because you don't think they get enough attention or time, you're on the autism roller coaster. And I don't like to be the bearer of that kind of news, but the good news is you can get off, and we can show you how to do that. So I hope I've explained it well, and I want you to understand what I mean by that, because what I'm not doing is predicting pain for you. But unless you've figured out how to manage things in the right way, you're going to have those high highs, which you're probably having right now as you watch this. But you're going to continue to have those low lows because our kids are going to have meltdowns. The next one's coming. The question is, can we flatten out those very low lows of that autism roller coaster by managing ourselves in the right way? And to truly thrive, we've got to understand we can manage those in a way that allows us not to fear them anymore, and that allows us to handle those things in the most productive way possible. And when it's over, to step outside of it and not be worried about it and move forward with hope and confidence, knowing that we as parents can do what's right. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.